with the release of Solar 2.0, I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I haven't been playing Destiny that much. But anyway, there's been a lot of disappointment, especially with Warlocks and Titans. That is not to say that they aren't powerful, but Bungie essentially cut out a couple of the trees. For example, my bottom tree Titan, not really there anymore. I need to play around with that and see what I can do with Titan, because my bottom tree Titan used to be ridiculous, and now she's gone. My bottom tree Warlock was absolutely amazing and a lot of fun, to where I started playing Solar. And I used to always do like Well of Radiance, but yeah, I'm not really digging the Solar Warlock too much. So today I decided to give it a go again, and I switched off of Dawnblade, or whatever it's called. Dawnblade, like chucking thing. Well, they're all Dawnblade. Okay, I switched off of Daybreak and I went to Well of Radiance. So I decided to start with a Well of Radiance build, and I know Well changed quite a bit. There are some things I don't really like. Like I said, one of them is with the healing abilities. Phoenix Dive should have been an aspect, and they should have left it the way it was. It really helped with mobility. It was part of the bottom tree package. You can't even do bottom tree anymore. It's not like Void, where I was able to do my top tree Nova Bomb and then add a cool ability from bottom tree. Nah. No, Solar, they really destroyed a fun subclass. So, like I said, I understand Solar can be very powerful now, but sometimes you gotta just keep the fun in there too. Void is still immensely fun. My Void build that I did last season, rock it out. It's powerful. It's just amazing. Solar, I'd like to see a rework a little bit, just a little bit. So anyway, Phoenix Dive, like I said, should be an aspect. It shouldn't have a cooldown. It shouldn't have the healing. It should just be a cool little thingy, because it would be really cool if you could combine Phoenix Dive with Icarus Dash, although I'm obviously not using Icarus Dash on this build. The other thing I don't like is that the healing grenade, everybody now has a healing grenade. And I don't agree with that. That is a Warlock thing. It should continue being a Warlock thing. And also, it shouldn't be its own grenade. It should be a fragment. 100% it should be a fragment. Or they could have made it an aspect too, but yeah, maybe it should have been an aspect. Oh well. So I have bottom tree, top tree, and middle tree properties in this build. I wanted to go with mobility. I am liking Heat Rises. That's always been cool, but I never played it because I didn't like top tree Dawnblade in the past. But let's take a look at this. Let's go over what abilities we're using, and then we'll go on to the armor set. So, like I said, we are doing a Well of Radiance build here, and of course we have our healing properties. Restoration, you regenerate health and shields over time. It cannot be interrupted by taking damage. And then Radiant, your weapons are enhanced by the power of the Traveler and deal increased damage to foes. Now, I really wanted to take advantage of the damage increases for Solar because I turned this into a Sunshot build. Sunshot has always been my favorite gun in the game, even though, I've done different loadouts through the seasons. And my problem with Sunshot is sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's hitting hard. And it was actually quite fun and effective as I was testing the build today. So Radiant was definitely something that I was going for. And then Restoration, of course. I mean, you need to heal. Otherwise, it's just not, you're going to die if you don't heal. So the interesting thing about this is, normally, would you rely on your super for Restoration and Radiant? Are you going to get your super back that much? And the answer with this build is yes, and we'll go over that more later. You're actually going to get your super a lot. You don't need to use it all the time. I was pretty conservative with when I used it, but it's pretty sweet. Okay, so I ultimately went with Phoenix Dive in testing this. I found this to be more useful because with Heat Rises, shooting from the air, I often found myself floating and just kind of slowed down. And if I needed to get to the ground fast, I wanted to be able to just bam down, hit V, and just crash to the ground super fast. It gives me explosive healing. It can cure nearby allies. And what's cool is while Heat Rises is active, you gain restoration while diving and scorch targets upon landing. So that is not something that I successfully used today that I noticed, but it's still something that can happen. I think once I do accidentally proc that, it'll be a pretty cool experience. But with Well of Radiance, I have no problem using Phoenix Dive. When I tried doing the other super, I wasn't really caring for Phoenix Dive too much, but I also wasn't going for like the restoration stuff. So I'll revisit that build at a later date. As usual, I use Strafe Glide. I 100% recommend this jump. Now, Burst Glide is what a lot of PvPers and speedrunners like because you can just launch yourself forward super fast. It's very good for racing around, but what I like about Strafe Glide is it has maximum directional control. So if you hate the Warlock jump because you just can't seem to get your Warlock to go where you want him or her to go, pop on Strafe Glide. Get the heck off of Burst Glide because your A and D aren't really gonna, do you any good when you're trying to turn corners. This thing you could actually like horseshoe around a corner with this. It's amazing. And it's slower, so you can just kind of feather your buttons until you get to where you need to be. And a lot of the crazy platforming stuff, I will actually just feather. I'm not just gonna hold it down. Sometimes you just gotta stick that landing and take your time. Balance Glide is a little of both. It has some pretty good directional control, and I do know people who do platforming with it. I mean, people do platforming with all three. Burst is the most advanced for when it comes to directional control. Balance Glide is the middle one when it comes to advanced. So you're going to get some speed with it. This is going to give you the most height as well. So like, if I ever have a hard time getting height, I'll just switch to this jump and make my height jump and then switch back to Strafe Glide. So you can play around with this. I think you'll do fine, but you really need to, if you're going to move to Balance Glide, and especially Burst Glide, you're going to have to jump cancel. Hit that spacebar to cancel your jump, and then hit it again so you can change direction. But you need to hit it again so you can reactivate your jump. The Incinerator Snap is brand new to this season. They replaced all the other melees. It's kind of cool. Snap your fingers to create a fan of burning sparks that explode and scorch targets. So, scorch is one of the things that we're using here. This is something that we're going to see a lot of when we get down to the, I forgot what it's called, fragments. But I wanted to make sure I was activating Restoration and Radiant, and I wanted to activate Scorch on this build. So Scorch, the target is singed by destructive solar light, taking damage over time. So like, for example, if I throw a grenade at a boss, he will start gaining Scorch stacks. So the more time that grenade is applied to him, the more stacks he gets. So Scorch damage increases as the target accumulates more Scorch stacks. And after enough Scorch stacks are applied to the target, they ignite. I saw this mostly with ads. So like little Scorn, little red bars, you'd see them like with flames coming out their heads. It was pretty cool. And then you just smack them or shoot them and it's all cool. Ignition, a large solar explosion which deals damage in an area around the target. So I believe when they get scorched, yeah, when they ignite, they ignite, and then if they die, they explode. It's awesome. So it's kind of like the bottom tree solar stuff with the ignition. And then there's a lot of grenades to choose from. Honestly, with this build, you don't need a healing grenade. Don't worry about it. You don't need it. I went with solar grenade. It's a grenade that creates a flare of solar light that continuously damages and scorches targets trapped inside. So there we've got Scorch and Ignition, just like with the melee. And then we have Cure. So we have all the healing thingies, Cure, Restoration, and Radiance. So that's good. So you want to keep track of those. We're applying those to ourselves as we use them. Heat Rises. The first solar aspect I'm using now, as you can see, this gives us Restoration and Cure. You are healed in a burst of mending solar light. Restoration, you regenerate health and shields over time. Cannot be interrupted by taking damage. I do like that. Like, you're just going to keep restoring. If you take damage, you're still going to keep restoring. You can fire weapons, melee, and throw grenades while gliding. And yeah, this was incredibly noticeable. Like, I was really in the air a lot while playing with this build. Q press, hold to activate heat rises, consuming your grenade and releasing a burst of healing energy around you. Consuming a healing grenade increases the strength of the burst. So this is why I wasn't too worried about the healing grenade, because you don't have to have a healing grenade. You can consume any grenade and release a burst of healing around you. Now, I was mostly using my grenades for offense, so I was doing Scorch and Ignition, but if I really needed it, it was an option to consume the grenade and heal. So yeah, doing the healing grenade will increase the strength of the burst. Final blows while airborne increase the duration of heat rises and grants melee energy. And I I noticed I didn't have much of an issue with ability energy at all with this. Then I went with Touch of Flame. Now, a lot of people are probably going with Icarus Dash. I decided to go with this because it gives me restoration. You regenerate health and shields over time, cannot be interrupted by taking damage, and then Cure, you are healed in a burst of Mending Solar Light. So you're healing Solar, Firebolt, and Fusion Grenade. So we're using the Solar Grenade. So our grenade will have enhanced functionality. The Solar Grenade will increase linger duration, so it lasts longer, totally like longer lasting grenades, and it periodically emits blobs of lava around its perimeter. I'm not sure how I feel about the lava. I'd rather just have the old grenade back and just have it expand further out. The lava looks weird. It looks weird. It looks kind of cheap. It's a lot more crap on my screen. Yeah, I think from a design standpoint, I'm not too keen on that, but the functionality seems just fine. So to go with the fragments, this is what we're using to enhance our green and our red effects. And watch it when you go over fragments. This thing doesn't always disappear. You have to kind of mess with it. So the first fragment I'm using is Ember of Ashes. You apply more Scorch stacks to targets. So every time I throw that grenade, so I don't know how many stacks they get, but like, let's say it caps at 10. This would like raise it up by more than 10. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't know what they actually are. So I don't have to read the Scorch and Ignition because we've already gone over that. Ember of Solace, Radiant and Restoration effects applied to you have increased duration. This was noticeable. I really liked healing. Healing is great. And I really like weapon damage that's increased. That's something that's really our biggest goal, is to get that weapon damage going. For Ember of Empyrean, solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. Now, the reason why I went with this is because I thought, we could use a solar weapon. And I decided to go with Sunshot. It's just fun. So between that and the ability final blows, it was almost always Sunshot or the ability blows. And so those traits were enhanced. And then Ember of Torches, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. So every time I melee, I become radiant. And it's attacks. It's not kills, it's attacks. So easy. The kill part, I'm not too keen on because you can't always secure those kills, especially with melees. Melees can be kind of weak. Also, if someone else gets that final blow before you can get that kill off, then, well, you're screwed if it requires final blows. Now on to our build. Like I said, Sunshot is the weapon I chose to go with as what this build is centered around. It's my absolute favorite gun, and it ended up being a lot of fun because I ended up doing some elemental well stuff with it that we'll go over, and using a seasonal mod, so this will change a little bit next season, but we might as well enjoy it while we can. Of course, I have a shotgun. I'll use whatever I want to. I'll pull out threat level if I'm going into stuff that isn't light level enabled. I love using sunset weapons. They're great. They're fun. But this is one of the best shotguns I got last year. I really like it. It's a kinetic shotty, and it hits like a truck. It's amazing. And then I've been carrying the rocket launcher around because I needed to get some bounties and stuff done for it. But The Royal Entry is pretty solid. This is an excellent rocket launcher, but I don't really need to go into the details of it. Use whatever you want. If you're going to be doing more close range stuff, like rock out a sword, have some fun. You can rock out a machine gun, whatever. Just have at it. Pick whatever you like. I do recommend, though, for this build, have either like an absolutely amazing scout rifle on hand in case you go into an activity where you need to get longer range stuff and the sunshot just isn't cutting it, or have a really good sniper rifle on hand in case you need to swap it out really fast. Because sometimes, like I just did the golf fight for the season, and the shotgun really wasn't ideal for that. I should have had a sniper. I really should have. Although this thing with frenzy is ridiculous. Onto the armor. You're gonna, if you watch my build videos again, you're gonna recognize a lot of these mods because I use a lot of them repeatedly for a reason. I'm all about keeping your abilities up and ready to go, and they feed supers. And Bungie has nerfed them a bit. They're not necessarily giving you as much of your abilities back as they used to, but they're still there. They still work. So as always, your general armor mods are going to be based on your RNG. Whatever your armor is, that's going to determine where you want to go on this. Now, real quickly, low mobility on a Warlock is just fine for PvE. And I've actually heard people argue that higher mobility can actually be worse for the Warlock. I like a high resilience, and I've always gone high resilience, at least 70. 80 is really good. Although this season, with what Bungie has done, 100 resilience is highly popular. I haven't been farming armor, but I am going to try to go for that 100 build. And use it. Resilience will keep you alive. And I like to have high recovery, of course. I prefer 70, 60 minimum, but I'll tell you right now, if you get one shot by everything, you're never going to benefit from your recovery. You can't recover from something that killed you. Discipline, I used to be really invested in using this, but I don't care. Like, I'm a 55 discipline just because I got lucky. I use armor mods to help with this, although I think with how Bungie has nerfed things, 50 is pretty good, pretty decent. Intellect, this is 69, lol. This is the same as 60, so we're in the 6th tier on this. Normally I would try to get it up to 70, but again, my RNG, I just couldn't get it up to 70, and I really valued the resilience. So you can see the numbers are kind of wonky here. Strength, I don't invest in strength on any of my characters. I'm gonna be real, I just don't. I use mods for everything. 24 strength is perfectly fine on a Warlock. Okay, so now that we've had that discussion, again, I normally like double ashes to assets, but with the nerf to curated weapons, Bungie essentially got, or not curated, masterworked weapons, which Bungie has essentially gotten rid of. Like, they didn't delete anything, but they're not really giving us masterworked weapons anymore. Yeah, it really depends. I haven't masterworked anything I've crafted because you build the masterwork into it at a certain level, so it doesn't get the gold border around it. It's really kind of weird. But anyway, it used to be with masterworked weapons, you get orbs of power with like 2 or 3 kills a piece. And so I never needed this, but now that the orbs of power thing has been nerfed, you have to have a siphon on your helmet. So rapid weapon final blows with damage matching your subclass type. So this is perfect. Using Sunshot with a solar build, this is perfect. And it's only 1 point, guys. Bonus. Ashes to assets, you gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. So this is going to give us super back whenever we get grenade kills. Now, if you are mindful of what you're doing, if you're using Phoenix Protocol, which we are for this build, we'd be silly not to with all the ad clearing that we've been getting. You want to try to get your super up to 50% using Phoenix Protocol. So like, use that Sunshot or whatever weapons you're using. Use those weapons to get your kills to get to 50% and then throw a grenade at something. However, if you're good at getting your grenades back really fast, which honestly, I didn't really have a problem with grenades, and I didn't have a problem with my super either. I was getting everything back pretty fast tonight. But anyway, if you get to 50% and then get your kills, that will give you even more super. Like, the grenade kills really do a lot. That's why my Nova Bomb build is so good. And then firepower, I am still using this. Charged with light mods are some of the best mods we ever got in the game. I absolutely love them. They're straightforward. They don't require too much thinking. Like, just figure out what you want and put it together. So while you are charged with light, and our goal is to always be charged with light with this build, I've made it pretty easy with it. When you use your grenade, you don't have to get kills, but when you use your grenade, it uses only 1 stack of charge with light, which is good. We prefer to use as few stacks as possible with our abilities. This will give you a portion of your grenade energy back. Now, it used to give you 40%. I'm not sure what it gives you now. I don't know. Maybe we should test that. But it still helps. Like, any little bit helps. My gauntlet. So I'm doing double impact induction. So if you don't have a melee ability and you're trying to get that melee energy back, just smack something in the face without the charge melee, and it'll give you a little bit back. Now, I think there's like a 5 or a 10-second cooldown. You don't actually see a cooldown, but when I took this and tested it last season, even the season before, like, I would just keep smacking things until I saw an increase. And yeah, it's just like you use, and I think it's like 5 or 10 seconds before you can benefit from impact induction again. So it'll reduce your it reduces your grenade cooldown. So the reason why I started using this is because it doesn't matter if it's charged or not charged, you'll get a little bit of grenade energy back. And I wanted it like that because with my Void build, I wasn't always securing the kills with the melee. And with the Void build, if I get a charged melee kill, it gives me my grenade energy back. It's pretty awesome. But I figured I would put impact induction on as insurance. So if I didn't actually secure the charged melee kill, then the impact induction would at least give me some energy back. Not an issue here, though. I think I might, I don't know, we'll figure it out, but I'm not really too concerned about melees giving me grenade energy in this build. This is more of a weapon build, to be honest with you. Elemental charge, become charged with light by picking up an elemental well. If it matches your subclass element, you gain 2 stacks of charge with light. We are making solar wells all the time. Almost every time I checked my charge with light stacks, I was at 4. So we're good to go on that. Phoenix Protocol is still amazing. I did read this because I saw how they destroyed some of my other exotics that I use. And this is still doing its job, and it better, because I actually paid $8 for this thing like several seasons ago. I don't buy a lot of ornaments, but like the one exotic that I used to use all the time on my hunter, I bought that ornament, and then they absolutely destroyed it. I was pissed. I'm not buying any more ornaments for exotics, because you never know when Bungie's going to destroy it and make it useless. And I don't want to pay for something that isn't useful. So with this one, I have sniper damage resistance on. I don't normally care about these. I would put this on, but I ended up having to put supercharged here. I couldn't put it on my bond. I usually have it on the class item, but because the seasonal mod I'm using, I had to move this up here. It was a bond mod. So I do like bountiful wells, and I use those on my Void build, but they're completely unnecessary in this build. So just go with supercharged and get your stacks, get all 4 stacks, and you're good. For the leg armor, this is a very standard build for my armor sets. Recuperation replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. That saved my butt a lot tonight, and I was making lots of orbs of power. And then innervation reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. So you guys can see, we have a lot of things feeding our grenade energy. It's pretty awesome. And then heal thyself. While you are charged with light, a grenade final blow heals you and consumes 1 stack of charge with light. So what's really nice about this is you may not need it all the time, but there were some moments tonight where I was about to die and then the grenade saved my butt. And like I said, I always have stacks of light. So you're going to use 2 stacks of light when you use a grenade. You're going to use firepower, which is going to give you back some of your energy, and that uses 1 stack. And then this will use 1 stack, and it heals you with grenade kills. It's really nice. Great insurance to have on all of your builds. And then finally, the bonds. We are doing double bomber, as we always do. It's our favorite thing. Double bomber, so whenever I use my class ability, it will give me grenade energy back. So this is why I used to always leave rifts everywhere, and I still do. I'll just leave them in random places because I'm going to get my grenade energy back. But with the dive, I wasn't really using the dive too much. I was saving the dive. But I do need to be a little bit more mindful of that when I'm out there playing. Like, oh, this will give me grenade energy. And the reason why you want to be mindful of how these work is because you can get a routine where you constantly are getting your abilities up. So honestly, if I'm going to use my dive, I should chuck a grenade first and then dive down, get some energy back. That way I'm always keeping abilities up because they feed each other. Flame harvesting. This is the seasonal mod. This one looked really interesting to me, and it was kind of a no-brainer because when I saw this, I was like, Sunshot? So I was getting multi-kills like crazy. So I'm getting the damage boost from my subclass with Radiant, and then I'm getting the kills. I'm getting the chain reactions. I had elemental wells all the time. Never had to worry about being charged with light. And there you have it, guys. This is the build. It works really well. It's definitely a different play style. I'm still trying to get used to the flow, like that routine, what I'm going to do when. But it makes Well of Radiance a lot more mobile, I would say. Because even if you, like, I used my well more aggressively. It wasn't, hey, like, oh, let's just stand and shoot. So let's go check out a lost sector and just kind of show off a little bit. Alrighty, what do we want to do first? Let's rock out a grenade. See, I'm radiant. So I've got increased weapon damage. Oh, dag, nabbit. Increased weapon damage. Look at my grenade energy. It's already like almost back. So we don't have a charged melee. Let's go smack something in the face. Just look at the grenade energy. Look at that. It gave me my grenade back. Dude, that gave me like, what, 10%? 15%? It's not too shabby. Let's try this. I never used this. So we have fewer. Oh, I don't have my class ability. I was trying to use the class ability. I have not used the combo of heat rises and my little, I don't know what it's called, my little thingy where I slam down on the ground and heal. Let's get some grenade energy back. Yeah, it was a... Dude, Sunshot is so good with this build. I'm waiting for the grenade. Here, let's smack this guy. Boom. Alright, I'm doing this for the first time ever. So it's a combo. I'm just gonna be like douchey. I need a bunch of cabal. I want to get rid of him and get ads. We also need to damage him to get more ads. Oh man, we don't have... Alright, he's gone. Okay. Do it. So we're gonna do heat rises. And then we're gonna slam down. Oh, there we go. Check this out. That's cool. That is so cool. All right. spitting lava. Actually, it looks better than it did on the Leviathan. There you have it, guys. Just a little bit of stuff with the build there. Oh, and so let me put this down. So if I pick this up, it gives me... Wait, do I not have the thing? Yeah, it gives me grenade energy back. I'm forgetting what I have on my build here. I'm like, it did give me grenade energy. So it's the innervation. So it's all about the grenades. Hope you have fun with the build. Test it out. Let me know what you think. And if there's anything else you'd like to see, drop a comment. I would love to get some ideas from you guys about what you'd like to see on the channel. Oh yeah, and don't forget, like, share, and comment.
If you'd like to support this channel, liking and commenting on the videos tells YouTube to share these videos with others who may find them useful. If you'd like to provide monetary support to help keep this channel up and running, visit my locals and subscribe star communities.